Are y'all ready to head off the trails? I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm ready to take you on a mysterious journey right now. We welcome you to Off the Trails right here on Spaced Out Radio's YouTube channel. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do. We would really appreciate the love. Shout out to Bumblefoot for that awesome intro music. We really appreciate that too. All right, you guys, please be sure to follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. You can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress. And please, if you'd like to support what I'm doing here, please go buy some jewelry out of my shop at War Woman Goods on Etsy. And you can find some of that stuff on my website as well. Okay. I have a fantastic guest here tonight. Once again, it's Spaced Out Radio. I have Matt Williamson here with me tonight. Don't forget that right after this show, After Hours has a great program set up for you guys. So let's get to our guest. Matt Williamson is a South Florida paranormal investigator and filmmaker. Growing up as a psychic sensitive, he has had numerous experiences with Bigfoot, ghastly spirits, shadow entities, and extraterrestrials since childhood. Years went by, and the burning desire to face these encounters grew more intense until 2021, when he finally got involved with hands-on investigations into these strange phenomenon. Since then, he created the YouTube channel Supernatural Spectrum, a place to reveal evidence, videos, and host live discussions with top minds from various fields to help educate the general public on all things supernatural. He's also the creator of the YouTube documentary series Panhandle Monsters, which details his time investigating the mysterious Florida Panhandle, and has another full-length documentary called Bigfoot, Flesh or Phenomena, releasing winter 2022. And I might know a couple of people in that documentary. Okay, so we're going to bring up Matt Williamson. Welcome to SOR, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back on. Awesome intro, as always. I love that.
Oh, my gosh.
Music by Bumblefoot. It was amazing. I love it.
Thank you. Well, thank you. It's he's a regular here at Spaced Out Radio. We hear him every night I'm on. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, Matt, I had a great time with you last time you came on the show. We really talked about your history of getting into Bigfooting and the paranormal. And today I'd really like to talk to you about what you're doing currently in your future endeavors. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You've got some big projects you've been working on.
Yeah, a couple different ones. We're getting ready to roll out the first part of the series for Bigfoot, Flesh or Phenomena. Really excited to finally get that out in front of some people. We're the last part of production as far as that goes, so it'll be out by winter. I'm so stoked, man. It's kind of been like my baby. I've taken the majority of the year to put into it, and I'm really glad that I took that time and really thought about how I wanted it to be presented to the general public. Right? Mm-hmm. We have a lot of films that like people hype up as dude, it's crazy. There's, so much evidence, oh, you guys are going to be so excited. We spent like 2 weeks out in the Adirondacks or the Florida, the Green Swamp and this, that, whatever. And, we got awesome stuff. And then the movie comes out and it's,
it's all right.
It's blurry photos, or, it's just a bunch of interviews. Like I wanted to take the traditional style of Bigfoot films and have that vibe to it, but also add like more of what we actually did, more of what we actually found, and having experts look into the evidence. That's a big thing too. Like a lot of people will they'll find stuff, right? And then they take their own spin on it and they present their evidence their own ways, whether it's correct or incorrect science, right?
Yeah.
I personally reached out. We got some really cool audio that we're going to be releasing in this film, and I thought to myself, the best way to do this is to send it to a true audio professional, people who have more in-depth technology and skills than I do, and instead of me thinking that, oh, this is what it is, let's send this out to professionals and see what they think it is. And what we got back was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And it's going to be pretty cool stuff. We got some audio that has never been captured in anywhere other than the Pacific Northwest. So that's going to be cool. Yeah, it was really cool. And I'm not the only one that says that. So it's pretty cool stuff.
I see at least one person in chat tonight that is a part of your film.
Yeah, there's Tyler.
He might be up on the screen right now. Hey, Tyler.
Yeah, yes, he is.
Yeah, well, and I might have a little tiny cameo at some point.
Not just a little tiny cameo. You did a remote view for me. Because
I did.
There was something interesting that happened. For the most part, we were done. We were done filming. We had gotten everything that we thought we got earlier that day, and like the last night, Tyler went home, and it was just me and Connor Flynn, Bigfoot Anon, and the property owner, and we were just out there having a good time, and we stomped around a little bit during the. No, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack that. We stomped around for maybe like an hour or so, and then we were all just sitting there around the fire, and I started falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, ugh. Just like I almost fell into the fire like a couple times. And I said to those guys, I was like, guys, I gotta go. Like I gotta go to the tent. I gotta go lay down. Something's not right.
Were you just exhausted, or was this normal? That you just got tired?
This was not normal. Normally I'm an insomniac. I like right now, it's 10 o'clock at night, and I could probably, even though I might sound a little stuffy because I'm a little sick, I'll probably still be up for another couple of more hours. Yeah. I don't have any problem doing that. But that night I did. And, so I normally keep like all my crystals and things for protection in my backpack. Well, earlier in the evening, I had put my stuff in his house with my backpack so that way I could charge batteries and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I just grabbed my phone, I forgot my backpack, and I went up to the tent, and I went and I laid down, and Connor said that I passed out like that. And he was up for a couple more hours, and he was sitting there listening to things like running by the tent and stuff like that, until out of nowhere, he said that he just suddenly passed out.
Yeah, that happens. Now, let's make it clear that you're talking about Connor Flynn, Bigfoot Anon, who's been on the show before. So a lot of people here know Connor. Yeah.
What transpired next is I can only describe it as forcefully woken up from my sleep to my head being lifted up, and then my whole body was plopped back down, and then my feet got lifted up, and then my feet plopped down, and then my head went back up one more time, and then I plopped back down. And mind you, I'm trying to scream for help. I can't get a word out. And the next thing I know, my whole body was just like stiff as a board. I couldn't move, and I just started going up like this, and being shaken around. And after a couple seconds of that, I'm not afraid to admit that everything spiraled and went black, and I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and I did not go back to sleep for the rest of the night.
Wow. Yeah, I got to tell you what's something very interesting about the story is that you and Connor both got really tired and just went to bed. Well, I was actually just out in the field this weekend doing research at the Meadow. Okay, and that's our famous Skinwalker Ranch of the South down here in the South. And my team was out there. I actually just stayed for a night because I had shows to do, but it's fun. The thing about it is a lot of times when we're out there and there's a lot of activity going on, what do? We all go to bed. We all go to sleep. And it doesn't make any sense. And it makes sense at the time. But you'd think that you'd want to stay up if there's a whole lot of activity going on in the base camp or wherever you're at. You don't want to go to sleep, but we end up everybody just kind of turns in for bed that night, like when that happens. So it doesn't make sense. But
it's
there's no telling what's going on. It is.
And that's kind of why I chose the word like Bigfoot flesh phenomena, right? Because at the end of the day, we have a lot of things that point, mind you, not like proof that says for sure it's a tangible physical being, that point to the fact that it's probably a tangible living organism, right? But there's so much more that is associated with more of like a phenomena, like paranormal phenomena and extraterrestrial phenomena, right? Because there's some rare chances that we get these physical whether it's a photograph or a scar, something tangible that we can take back and say, hey, listen, like this happened to me, and this is what we have here, or this is what I found. But most of the time it's not, and most of the time it's associated with these weird things. Like why do we always find blue items near Bigfoot tree structures?
I hear that all the time. I hear blue marbles. Brown Dwarf's in the chat tonight. He and I were talking about that. He's found blue marbles out in the field. My friend Tanya, she's had blue items found as well out there. And a lot of people have blue items. Even I want to say Mike Patterson had found some marbles up in Ontario, but don't quote me on that. But it's a common thing. And what is up with the blue?
And that's the thing. Why do they love blue? How are we for sure that it's them that love blue? Not to kind of name drop anybody, right? and it's not. And I don't mean this in any sort of a bad way, right? But the guys, Greg and Dana Newkirk from Hellier, right? They did that whole series. Well, what was one of the things that they kept finding? They kept finding like blue balloons randomly and like blue objects, and it was like specifically balloons. Like for whatever reason, the phenomena itself, and
thank you, Brown Dwarf.
The phenomena itself represents itself in these weird patterns, right?
Yeah.
And that's really all we can kind of go for, If you look at some of the Yeah, that's true.
They do try to mimic animals too. That's what Tyler's saying, that Matt woke me up and something was trying to mimic a rooster. I've heard that, where they try to mimic like cows and other animals that aren't even local to the area.
It's funny. I was out researching down here where, near a place where I live. And we were out there and we had gotten to this I don't know, tree line around like a bog area, and there was nothing but like saw palmettos for probably a couple miles. And we ducked underneath and we're crawling underneath the saw palmettos till we found this one little patch underneath a pine tree that was kind of where we could sit. Mm-hmm. And the next thing I know, we hear whoa, something was mimicking a turkey, and then whoa, and it was closer this time. It got to maybe within 15, 20 feet, and then just started going the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can tell it's not really a turkey.
You can tell that ain't no turkey. That's too big to be. That's either that's a pterodactyl, not a turkey.
Yeah. Well, sometimes what I've heard is they were trying to mimic a farm animal, and then it went on for so long they started laughing. It was like the being started laughing at the very end. It was so long and drawn out. We're like, that's not what we think that is. What it's trying to make us think it is, and then it started cracking up. So we started cracking up too.
Yeah. They do some weird stuff to try and act like it's not them.
Yeah.
But what does that show? That shows intelligence, right?
Yes.
That shows that they have, for lack of a better term, a sense of humor, so to speak, right?
Yes.
What does that indicate? That indicates not only intelligence, but that indicates soul.
And joking around too. You got to have intelligence to have humor, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah exactly. Because you have to be able to get the joke.
Yeah. Good punchline there. I like it. They
do some weird stuff.
They do. Well, Matt. Okay, so we're kind of talking about what happened to you, and this is kind of what your film's about. What is an overall general picture of what your whole film's about? Because you said you were filming before this incident happened. And I want to show the trailer to your film here after you give us a little rundown.
All right. So what it's about is my experience, mine and my friend's experience, investigating the phenomena itself. That's what we originally set out to do, and we originally were setting out to investigate the phenomena as far as let's just say that Bigfoot's real. Right? We've all had our own experiences and sightings, or et cetera, et cetera. So, all right, why don't we try to see if there's any authenticity to quote unquote paranormal Bigfoot? So we started investigating Bigfoot from a paranormal standpoint using things like spirit boxes and Estes method sessions and dowsing rods and things of that nature to see if we could elicit any sort of response from the Bigfoot, right? And that was the goal. And it was funny because we had no intention of actually going to Alabama originally. We were going to do all Florida areas. And every single spot, something happened. There was a forest fire. We couldn't get our permits. We couldn't do this. We couldn't do that. And then it ended up just being, that we were going to go, hey, I know a guy. And he wants us to come check out his property. And he's got all this Bigfoot activity. We're like, oh, that's perfect. Well, then come to find out, he's got, we get there and he's like, oh yeah, I shot this UFO video here and I got this really interesting trail cam photo that I'm going to release in the film because this thing is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
This is some sort of cryptid that I got no clue what it is, and it is definitely weird.
I think I know what it is.
It's definitely weird. It's not what we were expecting to see.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we found out there was so much more going on there than just Bigfoot. And that kind of correlates with our whole purpose of why we wanted to do this film, because if you look at let's just use ArcNet for example, right? ArcNet is one of those mapping websites that actually has Bigfoot maps, and it has UFO maps, and it has paranormal maps, and it has like giants, like we're in burial mounds, things like that. If you line up all those maps, for the most part, they all match in some way. Obviously there's some outliers here and there, but those maps correlate. And what does that tell you? All this phenomena is happening.
They're on ley lines?
It's around ley lines. It's around major historical sites, places that Native Americans heavily inhabited before we moved here.
National parks too, which are owned by the government now. Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason for that.
And
that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
I absolutely 100% believe there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so the moral of what we're trying to get across is, hey, there's a ton of people that claim that Bigfoot is a paranormal phenomena, that they experience some sort of paranormal event while experiencing Bigfoot in some sort of way. Whether it's orbs, whether it's, missing time. I know I actually had missing time, which is, one of the things that sparked, my interest with Bigfoot being paranormal, personally. But, it's things like that was like, okay, well, there's a ton of people out there that are still going gung-ho, and they're looking into the, whether or not it's a real tangible being or not, and this, that, whatever. You know what? There's enough people covering that. We need to start trying to actually apply to investigate whether or not it's actually a paranormal event.
Yeah.
And the results are going to be pretty shocking for most. And I guarantee you there's going to be some people that will be like, you guys are making this up. And I'm totally prepared for it. I've pulled all the metadata just in case.
Yeah, right.
Just because I'm going to be like, yeah, well, you explain it to me.
Yeah. Well, I think that we have to look into everything that these things could be. It's not, I personally don't think it is just flesh and blood kind of creature, because I've experienced too much weird paranormal, supernatural stuff out there. My team likes to call it the X factor to Bigfoot. Okay. And we're talking about portals, interdimensional stuff. We're talking about, orbs, all that jazz that happens out there when we have a Bigfoot in the environment. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that I use the word paranormal because that's what people kind of associate that stuff with. I call that's the real world. That's the real world that we're just tapping into and noticing, and this stuff happens all the time. I just had a show last night with Stacey Brown, and we were talking all kinds of stuff about he does a lot more of
the occult stuff.
I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know if it's necessarily the occult stuff. I know that he did in one of his films, but I'm just saying he has for the last year or so really done a lot more investigating paranormal phenomena.
Oh
right?
yeah, with the
So
Conjuring house.
yeah, that was one.
Absolutely. I really like the way I like the way Stacy thinks. Okay, and
Yes, yes,
he
he
just
does.
really pushes. He does experiments that a lot of people are scared to do. Okay, and he kind of pushes the limits a little bit, and I think that's actually kind of cool, personally. Just got to be careful with it. But I mean, you're
Yeah.
never gonna know until
Well,
you try it
and
what you're
that's one
gonna
of the
get.
yeah, that's one of the things that we tried to do. We pushed the envelope a little bit, and then I had what
Yeah,
happened to me, and I slowed my roll for a little bit, to be honest. But I started looking at new ways to start investigating and triggering this phenomenon. Um,
yeah,
and that's one of the reasons I reached out to you, because that stuff followed me home.
yeah.
After we filmed that, I came home and started having all kinds of, I don't like the word poltergeist, but like strange activity, things flying off
Hmm.
the walls, electronics going haywire, um, beings popping up in my living room and freaking out my dog, and yeah, the list kind of goes on and on. I had a camera. I was doing an experiment. I had a camera just like pan over and like on its own and like look back, and then like some weird stuff has
Wow.
happened since, and that's going to be mainly covered in film too,
Yeah.
because I wasn't really expecting to, but we got a lot of actual tangible evidence, that kind of pointed to like, yeah, there's definitely something out there. We can't say for sure what it is, but there's definitely something tangible out there that's leaving digital harmonic signatures.
Hmm.
We could say that at the bare minimum.
At the bare
So
minimum.
at the bare minimum.
Yeah. Well, I do. I mean, I'm not going to give away what I saw out there when I was remote viewing it, the event that happened to you. But there's
Yeah.
so much more than just Bigfoot out there. Now, I did detect at least one Bigfoot in the environment, but I don't think that's what was messing with you. I'm not sure.
No,
We're not going to talk about it until the movie comes out.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that's what it was either at this point.
Yeah.
Um, I've been messed with by Bigfoot, and that seemed a little bit more intense as far,
Yeah.
and that's just my opinion. Who really knows, I guess. But um, I felt like it could have been something far more sinister than that, and I count my lucky stars that I made it out of there.
Yeah. Well, what do you say we run your the trailer for your
Yeah,
film right
yeah,
now,
sure,
and
yeah,
so
sure.
the
Let's do it.
audience can get an idea of kind of what your film's about. I know we've just talked about it, but this is a really good trailer, Matt. So,
Oh well, thank you. I appreciate it.
all right. So, are you ready?
I only worked on it a little bit.
Okay. I know, right? It's only been your life for the past few months. So,
More than
okay,
that,
I'm
close
gonna
to a
pull up
year
on the
now.
screen. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay,
All
here we
right.
go.
And are we good?
We're good.
All right.
Growing up, I've always had weird encounters. When I first got into it, I had no intention of making a film. I had no intention of getting into all this. I just wanted to find out the answers for myself. The internet will tell you that Bigfoot is a flesh and blood ape running through the woods. Other people will tell you he's a spiritual being, he's an interdimensional being. They're not telling you that you can go out and look for Bigfoot. And other things might find you.
No. You need to stop. No, demon, that's right. Stop.
Who's to say that Bigfoot howls in the distance aren't just disembodied voices in the woods?
We're in Evergreen, Alabama, the capital of Bigfoot in the
Yeah, big old tree all right through there. Before it growed up, he pushed that tree to the side and walked out.
Would you say that from the moment that you guys acquired this property that there's been activity?
Well, there was always activity, but we blowed it off as paranormal.
All these things are connected. I guess that's kind of like the mystery behind it all, right? It's the pursuit of truth, the pursuit of knowledge.
Pine tree down. I can see the silhouette of shoulders and the outside of the head. You can see the legs.
Yeah, no, you definitely captured some very interesting sounds.
Yeah, and I immediately started getting what happened to you.
Healing?
There was.
Like where your body was actually raised up, you were terrorized.
Was it Bigfoot? Was it an elemental? Was it possibly an alien abduction? I don't know. But I can tell you that that trip took a piece of me that I'll never get back.
Amazing. I'm intrigued, Matt. I'm intrigued.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think I recognize a couple of those people too. So amazing. I mean, I can't wait to see the whole film.
Yeah, and real quick, since like you know the little bit of the audio played, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Long story short, that audio clip that was in there was 3 different individuals. And we're going to say individuals with the high probability that it's a Bigfoot. We say that because they were in the very, like, there's a sweet spot of Bigfoot vocals. And it's, you know, around like 600 gigahertz. Or, yeah, gigahertz, I think I'm saying that right. And there was 3 of them with 3 individual signatures that they were all at different ranges on their own. But the most interesting part is that they were being completely harmonic from 3 different locations in those woods at the same exact time. So
they were a chorus, a Bigfoot chorus.
Yes, they
That's
were.
interesting.
But they were a chorus. But they normally it was, what does a choir do? They're all standing next to each other. These guys were not doing that, but they were perfectly on key with each other at the same exact time from 3 different locations.
Yeah, that is really
So
odd.
the interesting part is that evidence actually points to the fact that they have some sort of ability to communicate from different locations and be completely
Telepathically?
Telepathy, there you go.
Yeah.
And or a hive mind, right? That's the cool part.
Yeah.
Like, what if it's a hive mind? And there's like, you know, they're able to have a collective consciousness.
Whoa.
Oh, that would be sick, right?
That's really, I mean, I don't put anything past them. I think that they're highly advanced. Some of them are. Some of them are just kind of looking for food all day, I think. But the other ones are highly advanced. So
Beyond.
a lot of them are ancient.
Beyond
you know?
what we can even imagine.
Yeah. It's mind-blowing, Matt. It really is.
Thank you.
So, all right. The question is, what do you think? Are they flesh or phenomena?
I think they're both.
Me too.
You know, the
Good
problem
answer.
the problem is that people always think that they have to pick one, right? We're humans, right? But we've been proven to do some pretty crazy stuff. Like look what all those videos of women lifting up cars to save their kids, lifting up 1,200-pound cars, you know, or 2-ton cars.
I've lifted up a very heavy 4-wheeler off my cousin one time. We had a wreck.
Yeah,
And I cracked my sternum in the process, but I did it. I lifted it up off of her so she could roll out from under it.
Well,
my dad couldn't even lift it.
People do superhuman things every single day, but we don't think about it.
Yeah.
You know, we have become the apex predator of the concrete jungle. And we've kind of hit like a, for lack of a better term, complacency era.
Yeah.
You know, and as much as I would love to say, like, we've progressed so much technologically, right? But we've lost so much spiritually. And I, you know, not to, and I don't want to be somebody who talks about politics and things like that, but I think we can all agree that socially, everywhere around the world, things are really tough for everybody right now, all across the world. And, you know, I think that has to do with the fact that we've gotten very far away from where our spirits should be. And I think that these beings are more spirit, right? Like, they're able to tap into their spirit and do things that we could possibly do if we just took the time to be spiritual, like the true indigenous people of this land used to be. You know,
Yeah.
think, you know, like the skinwalker phenomena, right? Well, what's a skinwalker? It's basically
It's
a
a-
cursed
it's a-
person.
Well, it's black magic, and
It's-
a
well,
human turns
They-
into
black-
something.
Yeah, but a human turns into something, right?
Hmm.
Via magic that had to have been cast, right? So they were
Exactly.
doing magic, real life magic, and this was only what 400 years ago, right here in America.
And
Yeah,
people
there-
still
there-
do
there
it.
well,
Yeah.
my point is, well, now it's not okay to do it, right? Oh, it's so taboo.
Well, you know. Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying
I
I do
guess.
magic. I'm not saying I do magic, and I'm not, you know, what I'm saying is that we have the capacity for
We
so
are
much
magic.
more.
Listen, humans are magical beings. Okay. We're all magical. We're able to manifest the lives that we want. It's all about perspective, Matt. It really is. It's all about perspective. Not everybody has to, like, you know, get a witch's cauldron and you know, brew up some eye of newt and some toad legs and all that kind of stuff.
Not
We're just
everybody can be
magical
hocus
beings.
pocus.
Hocus pocus stuff. You know, I guess I hadn't seen that movie. Everybody else has seen it but me.
I have.
But-
It was actually really cute. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. You know, I know a lot of people hated on it, but I thought it was great. My kids loved it, so that's all that mattered to me.
Yeah, I like Halloween stuff. It is Halloween
Yes, it is.
season. So
But yeah, absolutely, we became domesticated. That's exactly what it is.
We have, yeah.
You know, I think that they are what we could be. You know, and I think we could be something so much more if we just like united on the forefront of, hey, we're gonna put spirituality in the forefront of everything we do.
Yeah,
even
I
religion
agree
talks about doing
100%.
that.
Yeah, you know, I'm a Bigfoot field researcher, okay, but I have it on my YouTube channel. I give like oracle card readings and spiritual guidance stuff, and because, you know, I think it's so important for everybody to get on that vibe. You know, it's just the state of nature right now. It's the state of things. It's just where I am. So if y'all want to meet me there, y'all meet me over at the Cryptid Huntress on YouTube. Yeah, Matt, you had a quote. The very end of that trailer, you said that trip took a piece of me that I'll never get back. Okay.
Oh, did Jessica break up? All right. Well, to answer her question, I think that she was going for.
Yeah. Dang
all
it.
right, now you're back.
I'm
You're
back.
now.
I'm
All
back.
right.
Right as I was asking the question, I just froze. I know.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. What? So that trip took a piece of you. I mean, that means it really affected you. It took a piece of you that you'll never get back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the reason I say that is because, you know, we were gonna get into it a little bit later, but you know, I'm speaking at a conference, and we're supposed to be holding this Bigfoot VIP, like Bigfoot hunt and ghost hunt and everything like that, and I was supposed to camp out there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man, I am nervous.
Oh,
Yeah,
about
listen-
the conference that's coming up?
No, about having a camp out somewhere in a
Oh,
tent.
really? Okay. Why is that? Just because the
that
PTSD?
that event took
Yeah.
a piece of me, and I've been having
Yeah.
some serious like reservations about going back. I almost completely scrapped the entire project and said I'm never going back.
Yeah.
I almost completely scrapped everything that I work on right now.
Yeah.
I really did. Because, well, the bottom line is that I had the idea and the theory, and I had, like we've talked about in the previous show, I've had some encounters with some pretty nasty stuff before. And I told myself that I would never allow myself to end up in that powerless position again. And I haven't been in a very, very long time. And I felt like I got caught slipping, and something put me in that powerless state again, and it completely rocked me to my core. I don't think that anybody likes to feel powerless, especially males.
Right.
It's just not in our nature to be violated like that. Like to be told, no, you're not going to move and some stuff's going to happen to you and you're just going to have to freaking live with it afterward if you live. And, you know, I remember like some of my last thoughts were, I don't know if I'm going to make it home. I'll never see my family again.
Yeah.
And You know, it is what it is.
But for whatever reason, you're still doing it, and you're going strong.
I'm still doing it, and I'm going back in like 3 weeks, and we're gonna do some even more crazy stuff. We're gonna, man.
What do you have planned? I mean, I know Tyler was asking you about your tree stand experiment. He wanted you to talk about that.
Oh yeah,
but you don't have to if you don't want to. But it'd be interesting, just the idea.
I will. Well, all right. So like, here's the idea, right?
Okay.
The idea is, we're gonna get something either freshly killed, or some like dead meat. You know, maybe something from a butcher shop. You know, blood, whatever. Because he has this one deer stand. Yes, it was a profound experience. It really was. He has this one deer stand that he actually got this incredible trail cam photo that we're gonna. He's put it out on his page, but we actually did like a recreation of the trail cam photo. That'll be in the film. But he has this area where they always come up to because they're trying to steal his bucks.
Okay.
And so the idea is that we're gonna sit in that deer stand, and we're gonna have like a fresh kill near there. And we're gonna try and sit there with a thermal in the dark, have everything off, and sit there and wait till we hear something moving in on it, and then try and pop the thermals up and on them.
Pop the thermals up. So just you're gonna shoot it with the camera, not actually shoot it. So
no, yes,
just make that clear, everybody. It's just
make it very clear.
With camera.
I'm a no kill. I don't believe in killing it.
Yes, of course.
I'm already feeling guilty about. Yeah, they know my intention. But I'm just, intention. For everybody here that may not know my intention, I am a no-kill.
Me too.
Kind of researcher, and I actually am having an internal struggle about what we're gonna use as like the bait, because I don't really want to kill nothing, and it's.
I know. You have to go to the grocery store and get you some steaks or something.
I wish it would be that simple, but like the wild animals will know the difference. And me and Tyler had this big conversation.
Yeah, they would.
We weren't able to get like a deer in advance, right? And I had said to him, I'm like, well, what can we do as like an option, right? Like, can I go like get some baby back ribs and get 3 racks, cook 1 rack to get the smell out, and like just leave 2
racks on racks,
two like hang 2 racks from a tree? Like, what do you think will happen? Because another part of the experiment that I'm trying to facilitate too is I know for a fact that the Bigfoot that are out there on that property cohabitate very closely with coyotes. And my thought process is, normally when coyotes come up on a kill, they'll do one of 2 things. They're either going to ravage the kill completely right there, right?
Yeah.
And they'll eat it down to the bones. The second thing is they will either break off a piece and go try to take it away from themselves so they can eat it in peace. So what I want to find out is if these things are going to try and drag the entire kill away from us, or whatever it is. Are they going to try and carry this off without eating it, and can I get that on film? Because what does that imply? That means they're taking it away for somebody else.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing. If they're telepathic, they're going to know that what your intention is. Like, they're going to, So I don't know. I am a firm believer that they know that we're coming out there when we get out there to the field. It's like they're waiting for us, and they either show themselves or they don't, and usually it's they don't.
Yeah.
But they know.
I think they do.
I think they do too.
I think they know a lot more about everything than we can even imagine. And I'll leave it at that. You guys can watch the film.
Yeah.
Well,
we're going to be watching your film. We're going to be watching your film for sure. And you've also done another film called Panhandle Monsters, and I know Connor's in that one.
Yes, he is.
And that's really cool. Tell me a little bit about that, because you guys cover like all the local legends and lore around Florida.
Well, just in the Panhandle. Right?
Oh, just the Panhandle. That's all of Florida to me. That's the only part of Florida I ever go to.
So, Panhandle Monsters was a side project that I didn't even think was really going to be anything. It ended up being the pilot for what's going to be an entire series of films because Panhandle Monsters. If you watch the film, it's like things like not even 50 minutes long. It's a very short documentary. We went there to all these different places and talked about we went to Alamo Cave and Bellamy Bridge and a bunch of different places. We talked to somebody who had heard. He's also a local filmmaker who has heard all these crazy legends about the Goat Man and the Skunk Ape.
Oh, the Goat Man.
The River Baby.
Goat Mans. I just said Goat Mans. Do you know how many Goat Mans? There are so many goat men, especially in Texas. I mean, we have a goat man in Georgia. There's goat men everywhere. What's up with that?
Well,
there's always a goat man.
It's
There's always a
somewhere
bridge
around the Appalachian Trail.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's funny that he kind of like stalks that area.
Yeah.
But the Appalachian Trail actually comes all the way down, kind of through the Panhandle, and it ends in Ocala.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but yeah, the Appalachian Trail actually ends in Florida.
Wow.
So so we went. Honestly, Connor and I had just got back because he carpooled with me all the way up to Alabama, and I brought him back home, and he let me stay there, and he showed me around all these cool little spots, and
he's a good tour guide.
Yes, he is. He should get a job as a tour guide.
He should. He should
really
start a business. Yeah.
Yeah, he really should. He'd make killer money. I told him that. He should turn his whole house into a museum because his house is full of all kinds of crazy cryptid and paranormal related stuff. And yeah, dude, it's pretty wild to spend like a lot of personal time with Connor. It's fun.
Yeah.
I loved it. He was a great host, a great guide. But I had all this extra film, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with it? And I was like, okay, well, I can turn it into like a little documentary, of just like, our time there. Because we also went to a good friend of ours. His name is Donnie Miller.
Yeah.
And
from Standing Goats Rescue, right?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And he has he's seen like little frogmen and catmen and Bigfoot. He's had dogman encounters. So like the whole area is full of all this lore and legends and myths and cryptids, and it's a hotbed for extraterrestrial encounters and paranormal activity. And I was like, there's no way that there isn't something more to this stuff. We did a little bit of an investigation out at Donnie's place that I don't know how or why, but it's the only part of the entire trip that the audio got completely ruined. And
it's the area of high strangeness. That's why.
Yes, it is. Well, at the end of the film, there was definitely some high strangeness if you want to go check that out. It was we had already left, and Donnie sent that to me. He goes, I think this would be perfect for you to be able to post. He goes, I don't want to post it because it's too crazy for me. But yeah, go check it out. Go check out the film.
I've seen the film. It's on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's free. It's completely free. You don't have to pay a
Supernatural Spectrum. Yes. Let me put that banner up here. Everybody else.
So, that was so I decided that was going to be the pilot for the series. The next one that's going to be worked on is Panhandle Monsters Skunk Ape. That's the next one. And
the Skunk Ape down in that's. So where are you guys going to be filming around the Panhandle for that? I mean, there's a lot of skunk ape down there.
Everything that is going to be for Panhandle Monsters is all going to be
I'll be Panhandle.
That's all in the Panhandle. Yeah. Well, for me, as
intelligent question,
because I live in South Florida, right?
Yeah.
We have
we
have our UFOs and our paranormal stuff, but the only cryptid type of story, urban legend, is the skunk ape. That's it. That's all we have. And good old Mr. Dave Shealy coined that term all those years ago, and that's really all we have. Most of our local legends and lore down here have kind of been erased by the urbanization of South Florida. So growing up, I always heard all kinds of these crazy things that would always happen up there. You know what I mean? So it was very interesting. And when I met Connor there was an event at the Crowley Nature Center and Museum in Mayaca City, Florida, that Stacy Brown was holding. That's where I also met Tyler, and that's, you know,
Yeah.
we all became friends there, you know, and it was like, oh crap, now I actually know some people up there who can help me, you know, kind of figure out what's going on up there.
Y'all got a good network of researchers down in Florida. I mean, y'all got a ton of researchers down there.
Well, you know,
Good people.
Yeah, you know, there's a good amount of researchers down here in South Florida. Well, I would say in Florida, not very many down here in South Florida. But you know, it's I'm sorry, like I said at the beginning, my nose is stuffy, and I'm like.
You got a little cold. It's okay. You can blow your nose if you need to.
Hey, listen, man, the show must go on.
Just blow your nose. It's okay. It's okay. Well, yeah. So yeah. So the skunk ape, like I know that your mom. Okay, so if everyone does not know already, Matt's mother is not a boss continuum. She has her own YouTube channel and some great shows. Into the Depths, isn't that the name of y'all's show? Dive into the Depths.
Yeah, Dive into the Depths. Yeah.
Matt, you and your mom do a show together one night out of the week, and in addition to the shows you do independently, which is amazing.
Yeah, you know, what's interesting, the interesting part about the Dive into the Depths, if you go back and look at like my first couple of shows, I had tried to name it Dive into the Depths. That was this was the show that I originally wanted to have, is that I wanted to bring an expert on and talk to them about like all these crazy things, and really dive into the depths on whatever subject they were about, whether it was Bigfoot, Dogman, whatever. And then it kind of just became like a live show thing, and I was like, well, you know, this isn't really what I wanted. You know, I had so much more. I just had so much. You know, you try and do one thing, and sometimes it turns into another. But I really wanted to, you know, like, Dive into the Depths was my baby. So I was like, you know, what's a good way to help promote my mom's channel and also get my little, you know, my baby out? And then that's where the show was born, you know. And originally I said to her, I said, listen, I want you to find a bunch of articles, and I want you to, like, not tell me what they are, and I want you to like, get my blind reaction to, like, these crazy things online. And have you know, and let's have fun. You know, most of these shows where they get into the articles and things like that, they are really, they're really serious. You know, like at the end of the day, like we gotta be able to laugh and have fun and enjoy our time. And so far, we've had a lot of people come and watch that show and just die laughing. Like one of the biggest jokes
Including
about the whole
me.
thing is, you're one of them.
Yeah.
You know, one of the biggest jokes about the whole thing is the jackalope. Because when I was a kid, my parents had this jackalope, and I was afraid. I was like terrified of the jackalope. I thought it was so hideous and ugly. And out of like we were doing the very first episode, and out of nowhere, she like threw a jackalope thing into it, and like I was dying laughing. It was so funny, and I was like, you got to get this thing off the screen right now. It's making me uncomfortable, you know. And like, you know, we do these live organic shows.
Then they're so
people love
authentic and hilarious. And you guys are pulling up articles from way back in the day about Bigfoots and wild man sightings and all that kind of stuff. And it's really fun.
Well,
I mean,
you know,
we have to put a little humor in it.
That's the cool part, right? We're learning about what the general public used to. I'm sorry, I'm on my green screen. How the general public used to view the phenomena has changed drastically over the last 100 years.
Yeah. Well, and how it's reported has changed as well.
Absolutely.
They used to tell us the truth.
They used to tell us that they weren't so different from us. Mm-hmm. And now they're monsters. The narrative has changed, and I think the reason being is because they wanted to scare us out of the woods. They scared us out of the woods, and they succeeded. Yeah,
I guess so. I mean, not all of us are scared. I was out there this weekend.
Well, I you know what I mean, like the general
public. Absolutely, I know. I'm just
we live in big skyscraper cities now.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, it's interesting. There's certain times where they shut down the national parks and stuff too under certain circumstances. So, you know, there's a concerted effort. There is, yeah. Well, Matt, tell me a little bit about this conference that you're going to be speaking at next weekend.
Yes. Actually, it's going to be my very first speaking event, and I'm
excited
super
for you.
I'm nervous. But I'm super excited.
You should be. And it's thrown by actually Stacy Brown is the person putting it together. And, yeah, and he's been on the show before.
Yes, he has.
Yeah. What are you going to be talking about?
I'm going to be talking about Panhandle Monsters and Bigfoot flesher phenomenon for the most part, and talking about some of these crazy things that I've discovered as far as pineal gland decalcification and the benefits of doing that and how you can communicate with these things.
Yeah. What? That is official right there. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, it is. I'm very excited too. You know what's interesting is that you can tickle the phenomena back. Yes. Yes, you can.
Like you mean they're live in real life?
No. I'm saying like you can tickle the phenomena back. Like,
okay.
You know,
what does that mean?
I know I'm saying it a little weird, but like, okay, so you're in the middle of the woods, and the next thing you hear is a tree knock, right? That's the phenomena tickling you a little bit.
Okay.
It knows that you're out there in the woods, you're thinking about Bigfoot, and it gives you a little tickle. Well, I've kind of found a way for you to be able to tickle the phenomena back.
Okay.
And you're kind of using yourself as a conduit. And you're going to be using a device that will actually stimulate the photoreceptors for your pineal gland. And
this is your invention.
Yes, and it helps release some of those endorphins, and it helps decalcify your pineal gland at the same time.
We could all use that.
Which everybody could, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, and at the same time, it's also causing extrasensory deprivation techniques. So, like, it's like taking the Estes method.
So you're blind.
And
you can't hear.
I'm messed up already. Yeah. So why not, you know?
I know, right? Well, it takes
it to another. It actually has. You have photoreceptors right here. Most people don't know that, but when light shines on your forehead right here, that's how your body knows whether it's time to go to sleep or not. So what this does is it kind of overstimulates that, and it tricks your pineal gland into releasing those endorphins that you normally wouldn't have released until you fall asleep.
Yeah.
So you're basically dreaming while you're awake.
So that's and it gets you in tune with the otherworldly. Okay.
Yes. Well, it allows you to have one foot in our world and one foot in theirs.
It does.
While
it really
being awake.
Yeah. It tunes you into that psychic phone line there. Okay, to the other side. Yeah. So I think it's great. You're gonna be doing that at the conference this next weekend?
I don't know if I'm gonna do it on display, but I'll have the equipment there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we might try to do it during the Bigfoot hunt, because the last time we tried to use that in the field with Bigfoot, it was crazy fun. Because they started throwing rocks at us. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be fun. I wish I could go down there. I mean,
we're gonna have Connor, Bigfoot, and Non talking about all his stuff that he's got going on. This guy named Chaz the Dead, who's talking about this place called this thing called the Bet Sphere, which is like this UFO case out of Jacksonville, Florida. We're gonna have James Brose talking about the curious case of David Eckhart, who is this crazy crazy intense extraterrestrial situation that this guy has going on. It's insane. I only know a little bit about it, and I follow David on TikTok, so I've seen some of these things that they're all up in his house all the time. Really crazy stuff. Stacy's gonna be talking about their films and things that they've been working on, and then there's me talking about my films and crazy things I've been working on too. Oh, and I'm sorry, and Eric from
War Party.
War Party Paranormal. There it is.
He's been on my show too. I mean, just about every single person you mentioned has been on my show. So I'm excited about it. I would love to come down there. So maybe we can make it happen. It's not that far from where I live. Yeah.
And
your
guys,
debut.
just shameless plug real quick. We are doing a giveaway. If you go watch the show that me and Stacy did last night, and you follow the steps in the description, and you're actually able to attend the event, purchase a ticket, and then we're actually working on trying to get a little something from every single vendor booth. Like, you're gonna walk away with, you might pay $15 to get the general admission in the door, and you might walk away with like a $300 or more value.
That's awesome. So worth it.
It's totally worth it. The steps are very simple. You like the show, you watch it, comment, share it out, and then purchase a ticket. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it,
so
man.
North Florida Paracon, y'all.
North Florida Paracon,
go sign
Water
up.
on the River, Tallahassee, Florida, October 22nd of 2022.
Next Saturday. Yes. It's going to be awesome. So people can find you, Matt, at Supernatural Spectrum. Is there anywhere else people can find you? This is on YouTube.
You can find me on Vimeo, Patreon, let's see, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I have a Facebook page or group. I also have another
Spectrum all around the board.
I also have another Facebook group called the South Florida Cryptid Paranormal Project, which is something that I started. Well, me and my mom started a while because we're trying to get more people. Involved locally. Just
awesome.
Throw that out for people. So.
Yeah, I highly recommend you guys all go join his groups. Please
do. I'm very close to 1,000, so if you guys could help me out with that, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Let's get him over 1,000, y'all. Let's do it. Okay, Matt, I am so excited for you for next weekend. I'll be seeing you soon. If I don't see you next weekend, I'll be seeing you in the near future. Okay, so
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. I wish we had more time. Of course, because I feel like we could have really talked about so much more and got a little bit further in depth with some of these things. And I'm so sorry to you guys who have questions about some of the things that I've kind of briefly touched on. And if you ever want to reach out to me, send me an email. I'm willing to talk about everything that I do and everything that I mentioned here on the show tonight with you in person. So thank you so much for having me on, Jessica, and Spaced Out Radio.
Thank you, Matt.
I really, you guys know I love the platform. I've had Dave on my show, had you on my show.
Oh, yeah.
And, you guys are doing great work here, so thank you so much.
We love you at Spaced Out Radio, Matt. Supernatural Spectrum, everybody. Matt, have a great night. We'll see you soon, okay? Tell your mom I said hey, okay?
Will do. Absolutely.
All right. Bye. All right, y'all. That was awesome. I just love Matt and his mom. Okay. Don't forget, right after this show, you can join the After Hours crew. They're going to take you on an incredible journey for the next 3 hours. Next week on Off the Trails, my guest is Jeremiah Fountain. We'll be talking about his Sasquatch and Dogman experiences. I can't wait to see y'all then. But for now, I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones. I'm headed off the trails. I will see you guys next week. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. All right. Bye, y'all.